What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us here at Into the Storm podcast. This is our very first episode. It's going to be pretty brief. It's just going to be me this time. Usually, we're going to have some guests on here, but I just want to kind of give you a rundown of what the Into the Storm podcast is going to be about, what our goal is for the pod, who we want to reach, how we want to impact people, and then also the kind of the engine behind Into the Storm is the Bison Tribe. So you can see that logo on my green screen behind me. So just wanted to kind of get into a little bit about what that is, where it came from, and kind of share that with you guys. So first of all, this is a men's accountability leadership kind of personal development group that was just formed. It's kind of been on my heart for a couple of years now. I've been very fortunate to be able to be a small part and participate in a few retreats and mastermind groups, both locally and national organizations. And I was able to see the impact that it had on so many men across the country. So, with that being said, I kind of took it upon myself to, try to take all the personal development that I've invested in myself, and trials and tribulations I've been through, and I knew that I was able to have an impact on some folks in those settings, and I wanted to take and try to kind of ripple that out as much as I could, and so this has kind of been on my mind for a while, and the last few pieces just kind of fell into place the end of last year, where I was just trying to figure out just a few more pieces of how it would go, because you don't want to kind of jump into something and have it kind of half cocked and not really together. So, not that we have it completely together, but a lot closer than I was at the end of last year. Um, so, the Bison Tribe. First of all, what sparked the name was something I saw, a story I saw about bison and their mentality of going directly into the storm. All other animals, including humans, man, we're going to go around it. We're going to run away from it. We're going to hunker down, try to hide somewhere. But the bison just turns and goes right into it because they instinctively know that the best way to get through the storm and the fastest way is just go right through it. And so I was really motivated by that. Started doing some more research. I had no clue how bad those animals are, man. They are some tough individuals, man. So what better thing to name a tribe of men after? So that's where bison comes from. Into the storm is basically the basis for our podcast. Is going to be, we'll have conversations, talk about life, talk about personal development, some business, different aspects of everyday life, and then trials and tribulations, man, that we've been through, storms we've been through, how we've overcome those, everything from books, podcasts, conversations, people you surround yourself with, all those different things. So we're just going to kind of share in that and see where that goes. Hopefully, it impacts some people. I really have a strong feeling that it will, because I've personally witnessed it before. So that's the bison part. Tribe, it comes from, like, you could call it a group, you could do whatever you want to do, but like a tribe, but we're tribal by nature. I mean, humans are tribal. You look throughout history, we're always part of communities. And so the tribe concept is really just where I feel like a lot of times we as men, especially, we kind of get out on our own and try to just handle everything on our own, fight everything, keep it inside, and nobody ever knows. We never ask for help. So a lot of times we don't get help, and then we just keep fighting these battles. And a lot of times the people around us are suffering because we're not growing and evolving from those, and moving out of those situations. So I've been through a great deal the last 4 years. It's kind of forced me into a lot of personal development. I mean, I had really nowhere else to go. And so I just started working on myself, man, and I was in some dark places. So I know what personal development did for me. I know what being around the right people did for me, and I know what the tribe mentality has done for me and for countless other people. So Bison Tribe is what we landed on. I knew a handful of men that I felt like would be bison material, and so I reached out to them, and everyone was all on board. So we had a meeting about 6 weeks ago, and kind of rolled out like the concept of what I was trying to get to, and what my goals were. And at the same time, I asked them like, what do you, you showed up, you kind of knew the basic premise of what I'm trying to build, and what are you looking for? And pretty much to a man, everyone said they wanted growth, they wanted accountability, and they just wanted to get better. And so and they enjoy the locker room kind of feel of everybody being together. So that's what we did. Um, everybody's in agreement, everybody's on board, and just the growth that we've had in the last 6 weeks. And guys, we only meet every other week, okay? But we also have a chat group that we get in and kind of keep each other accountable. One of the things that I said, I think in the second meeting, was just making sure everybody understands. And I don't think the group that we had was leaning in this direction, but the main thing was like me and the other leaders in the group. It's like, guys, this is not an affirmation group. Like, we're not here to pat everybody on the back, say, okay, you're so okay that you this way, or whatever, man. Like, we're not giving you confirmation, and saying, okay, well, you have an excuse to be this way. No, man, this is accountability group. So if you're looking for affirmation for actions that don't live up to the standards that we're all trying to shoot for, then this isn't the place for you, bro. Like, and we always go back to the same mantra, man. It's into the storm. So, we talk about, I want to work out 3 days a week. Well, what the hell you can do another 4 days? Like, what I mean? Like, you don't take one step forward to take two steps back. Now you're taking off more days and you're working out. Like, let's be real, bro. Like, either we're doing it or we're not. So into the storm is just our mantra. And everybody's pretty much on board with that. So we feel great about the group that we have. We do want to grow the group. I mean, my vision for this, I would not have started something that was, I wouldn't have built an entire podcast studio. And right now we purchased the domain name, thebisontribe.com. We've not built it out yet, but we're ahead of that. We're looking at the LLC, all those different things, all your social media pages, YouTube, the whole deal, man. Like, we're going all in because we want to impact as many people as we can. So that's who we are. The podcast is a spinoff and a supporter of that, so we can tell stories and make impact as much as we can. So I'm going to share with you guys right here, if I can figure out how to share this thing right quick. These are our core values. So Bison's acronym, first of all, be the example. The simple thing on that, man, is be the example in everything, every role that you play. You want to be the example in that. So whether you're a father, a husband, a community leader at work, whether you're the business owner, you sweep floors, you're hourly wage guy, a sales guy, like, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever you do, be the example, like exemplary in whatever you do. The next thing is impact our community. We've been talking and kind of starting to narrow it down a little bit. We've still got a little ways to go, but on what our tribe wants to pour into it as far as our community, we've talked about our concerns about sex trafficking, the gap that we have with our teenage youth, where we're kind of losing them right at that middle school age. So we're trying to figure out, what mentorship opportunities are there. I've reached out to a few different programs there, and trying to get us connected with the right people, have them come in and speak to the tribe. And the other thing is hunger. I went with my job. I went over and we looked as a team at a local program here that has a backpack program for kids that have free lunch. They put together backpacks with food in them so that they can hand them to them on Friday, so they'll be able to eat on the weekends. When they start talking about the numbers of kids that are in need for that, it was just astounding. So there's so many things that we could pour into. So we're trying to narrow that down so we can be intentional and really make a difference in whatever we go after. So impact our community. That's another thing that was extremely important to everybody that came in from the first day when I asked, what are 3 to 5 things you're looking for? Everybody also mentioned giving back. So that's big for us. The next thing is an S, and that's serve our family. Guys, we all care about our family. We love our family. We want the best for our family, but a lot of times we're just not intentional about the things that we need to do to serve them. And so That's something that is important to us, and we're going to hold each other accountable to those standards. And we've got some pretty cool exercises that are going to keep everybody on track there. The next thing is overcome our demons. And we're not, again, this is into the storm. So we know we have problems. We know we have issues. And if you're going to come, into the tribe and try to hide those and stick them in the closet like we normally do with our demons, it's not going to work, bro. Like it's going to come out. And so we're very intentional about putting those things out front and having our tribes, our tribe members together try to help us defeat those things. So no matter what it is, it could be drinking, smoking. You can have anger issues, but we're going to get to the core and really try to help you overcome and defeat that. So we're very intentional about that. The next thing is never stop growing. Quite often, we get out of school and there's nobody there to tell us that we got to study for a test or that we have to read this book or whatever. So we just stop. Like we don't push ourselves anymore. And there's and I'm very fortunate. And my Facebook is covered with men and women that are just constantly pushing for growth and I'm always quoting, books and podcasts and all types of leadership people that's out there. I try to surround myself and saturate myself with that on a daily basis. But that's something I had to come to over the last few years. I wasn't that way, for years and years. I wasn't intentional about any of these things, right? So this is just a new thing that's kind of come on for me the last several years, but now I'm just like hungry for growth, man, and I want to be surrounded with people that are the same way. So that's one of our core values. You have to be someone that's always wanting to grow and move forward. So that's what we have on our core values. The next thing I'll move over to, and this is really powerful. We put some a decent amount of work into coming up with our BISON creed. So we could have said mission statement. I think that's what we started off calling it, and then it became a creed, and we just thought that was a little bit more catchy and kind of on brand for what we got going on. So this is our creed. I'll read it for you guys. Guided by unwavering integrity, we embrace accountability in all endeavors, demonstrating resilience as we courageously forge into the storm. With intentional actions, we strive to push our brothers to exceed expectations, fostering trust and excellence in everything we do. So, all those key words there highlighted in black, and we just want that to be front of mind in everything that we do, decisions that we make, and everything like that. So, that's what we have there. There's some other components that go into what we do. We have what we call footprints. Everywhere you step, you're leaving a footprint behind you, whether it's a conversation, a relationship, a job that you were at before, a class that you attended. It doesn't matter. Like everything leaves a footprint. So there's something behind. And obviously, whenever we pass on from this earth, we're going to leave behind a legacy, and that's going to be our final footprint. So we named our 5 categories footprints, and they are faith, family, fitness, finance, and fulfillment. So what we want to do is be intentional about those things. So when we first come in, those are our barometer. That's what we actually are grading ourselves on. Are those 5 categories. So when you first come in, you give yourself a 1 to 10 in those categories, and we have a way that we kind of score those out and help you come up with that number. And then from there, we do what's called a BISON Trek. And the Trek is another acronym. I'm not going to get into that on this podcast, but the Trek is an individualized, formula that we kind of use to where you have action steps that are going to help you grow and get better in those different 5 footprints. So depending on where your scores are and which ones you need to work on more or whatever, it's a very tailored thing. And it's a 28-day challenge. So for 28 days, your the BISON tribe is going to come together, help you formulate this trek, and then they're going to help keep you accountable to that. So again, the big thing is accountability, man. And so let's say one of your things, you're trying to overcome a demon, and say that's drinking. Let's say you got a drinking problem, okay? A lot of people have drinking problems and hell, they don't even know it, right? But if we, kind of say, hey man, how often you drinking? I don't think I have a problem. Usually that's the first sign that you got a problem. You say, I don't have a problem. But let's just say that we finally establish, little Billy's got a problem, drinking problem. We don't have anybody named Billy, by the way, so that's not actually a real bison. But let's say he's got a problem. So now for 28 days, we got 9 other brothers out here helping you out. Every day, a different bison takes a hold, and they're responsible for Billy to get into an AA meeting. And so we rotate around. Maybe you get 2 or 3 trips with him, or 4. If it's one, say 3 or 4 in the 28 days. But that's part of being part of the tribe. Like we're going to help each other beat our demons, and where you might help someone else, and there's going to be 9 other guys going to help you. So it's a really good trade off, and it's that tribe mentality, right? So we're all here to win and try to get better and everything. So that'll be a bison trek. At the end of the trek, the goal is to get those numbers up. So if you were 7 on family, we're going to come up with ways to get that up to an 8 or a 9, or hopefully at some point a 10, right? But so that's the bison trek. We also have a thing called a stampede, and we've not even really like nailed that down yet, to be honest with you. Like the trek is a 28-day challenge, kind of like I'm just starting Fearless 44 tomorrow, and I've done 75 hard and those type things. The thing about those is they can be somewhat personalized, but it doesn't really target exactly what your issues are that you need to work on, right? So what we're doing is coming up with action steps that are specific to your needs, and then there's a group of people holding you accountable to that, that meet each other every other week, and so there's going to be a lot of interaction there to kind of keep you on track. But the stampede is different in that it's just going to be a 1 day, 2, 3, 4 hour, some kind of a physical challenge, man. Maybe we have to wear, backpacks, weighted vest or something, and go on a 5 mile hike and walk through a cold river. I mean, who knows? Like we're going to come up with something. We got guys on board that are pretty good at coming up with physical challenges, and we'll figure that out. But we want at the end of that to be something that we went together, um, through together, and pulled each other through it, and just kind of create that brotherhood. Going through tough, things like that really builds your confidence, and it's really good for your mentality, and also bringing the team together. So we're going to do that, probably a stampede once a quarter. Also, once a quarter, we're going to have a small retreat. It could be Gatlinburg, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, whatever it may be. So we're going to try to get away and do something as a group, and just be real intentional with those. We're not just going to go off and goof off. We're going to actually have some exercises and some different things that we're going to do, to try to build on everything that we're trying to build on. Also, having guest people come in. We meet bi-weekly, so have different people come in that's going to help. Speak to those footprints and those different categories, and try to give us some value there on how we can continue to kind of grow in those areas. So that's pretty much what we have as far as the tribe. Um, Really excited about growing this team. We kind of froze. I've got several people that's asked about coming in, and being a prospect to come in with us. But we're really trying to get a little bit more of the groundwork set up. We're looking at get the website up and going, get a podcast or two up, so then we have some content that we can put up on social, and just kind of go there, and then start bringing people in. Even to get in as a tribe, as a bison, you have to be prospected. So a current member has to sponsor you to get you in. And then the tribe, after that first meeting, we decide if we want to let you prospect or not. So then you prospect, you come in for 90 days, right? Um, in those 90 days, you have to complete a bison trek. And then we have to, you have to show advancement in the footprints, from the first day whenever you grade yourself. And then you also have to be voted in by the existing members, and basically that you live up to the core values, and you are representing the Bison Creed. And so from there, you become a member. So we're building all that out, right? but we're getting closer and closer. And the thing I thought about, a quote that I've heard several times, but it hit me right around Christmas time was, done is better than perfect. So we're going to get better. I'm going to get better at podcast stuff. I'm going to get better at, setting up the studio and sound and cameras, all that good stuff, man. We'll continue to get better, but this is our starting point. But we have to start somewhere, right? So I'm super excited about that. What I'm really hoping, and this is just, I mean, that BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, right? That BHAG for me personally is for this thing to grow and be no different than the Shriners or the Kiwanis Club or whatever. All these different groups that kind of start off and then they grow to be massive, major contributions in their communities, and be people look at them and respect them whenever they come because they know they're making a difference, and that's what I want. So even though we're starting here in the upstate, I want to grow, all around the state. I want to grow into the region and then across the entire country. But right now we're just kind of getting our foundation and getting everything set up, and then bring on some guests that's actually going to get in and have that mentality of into the storm and share their stories, and try to get everybody kind of understanding what we're about, and then hopefully that wave just kind of takes hold and we grow from there. So anyway, super excited, guys. Thanks for listening to me. Looks like I've been on here for like about 21 and a half minutes. I knew it was going to be around 20 minutes probably for this first one. We're going to be having guests coming on. I've got a few people I've already spoke to that kind of know what we're about, and I think they're going to come on and really be some really cool guests, and just really excited, man. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the support. Whenever we start kind of getting these things out, if you could share them, man, I'd love to make an impact on as many people as we can. We just want to, another thing, I'm glad I thought about this. Right now, I know I should have said this way earlier, but I said this is a men's group, and it is, and it needs to be. But there's also, talks already of having a lady bison group. The thing is, the ladies group needs to be led by ladies. Like I can't, you can't have the crossover. I've seen that. Like I've seen where you tried to put the men and women together and have these really in-depth, like pull from your guts conversations, man, and talking about your demons and your struggles. And it is hard to have those conversations and get that level of transparency, if you will, whenever it's mixed company like that. So we right now it's a men's group, but I do believe that the Lady Bison are right around the corner, because again, we want to impact as many people as we can. But in the meantime, if you ladies or men, anybody can share our content, man, and help us get what we're doing out there, because we are going to do some big things. We're going to help our communities a lot. We're going to create better men. That's going to create better husbands, better fathers, better co-workers, better everything. And so it starts with us, man. We have to be leaders in everything that we do. And that's the bison mentality. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to head into the storm. So anyway, I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.